This isn't a map of imagination. It's a map of memory. Every line, every landmark, tied to stories that are still told, not just as myths, but as lived experiences. The heart of all this is Ayodhya, the city where the story of Lord Rama begins. But here's the real question. What if it's not just a story? The name Shri Ram still echoes in temples, in homes, and in the hearts of millions. It started here, and it never faded. How did this name spread across the length of Bharat? Contrary to what pseudo-intellectuals say, it was not spread by force, but rather by faith. From Ayodhya, it traveled east and west, temple to temple, village to village. From forests of Chitrakoot to Kishkindha, from Bhadrachalam to Rameshwaram, the journey of Rama lives on. Not in pages, but in places. If this were just fiction, why did it shape the geography of an entire civilization? Why do thousands of temples still mark this path today? Because it was never forgotten. It was remembered. Rama's path began not in myth, but in a real place, the forests of Chitrakoot, and real echoes of a story that was walked, not imagined. They say he wandered deeper into Dandakaranya, one of the largest forest belts in Bharat, still standing, still untamed, still whispering his name. So how did Valmiki describe this journey across such vast landscapes? Without Google Maps, without satellites, just memory carried forward by sages. The Ramayana isn't just told, it's retraced. Locals point to rivers where Rama drank, rocks where he rested, and temples where bhakti still burns brighter than any monument. In the Karnataka state, the rugged stone hills Kishkindha, the Vanara kingdom. These granite formations, riverbanks, and caves still exist. And locals have never stopped calling them Rama's path. Ask anyone here, and they'll point to the cave where Sugriv met Rama. Not as poetry, but as memory passed through centuries. Then eastward to Bhadrachalam, a sacred temple town on the banks of the Godavari, where Rama is still seen as a living presence, not a distant figure. And then comes Rameshwaram, the edge of the Bharata's landmass, the launch point of something impossible, a bridge built across the sea. This bridge stretched from Bharat to Sri Lanka, described in a 7,000-year-old text, and still visible today from a satellite. Beneath the shallow waters, ancient stones lie in a perfect alignment. Not random, not natural, not imagined. NASA captured it. ISRO mapped it. Yet historians still debate. How did Valmiki describe it in full detail without ever seeing it from above? If this is just a story, why does the ocean still carry the footprints of that journey? Why does the night still shine over a path once walked by gods? Across the ocean stood Lanka, a land of wealth, war, and destiny, described as a city of golden towers, long before any traveler reached its shores. And here's the mystery. In Sri Lanka, ancient fortresses like Sigiriya match the descriptions, high citadels built into stone with legends of a king who fell. Some say Valmiki imagined it all. But how do you imagine places across a subcontinent that you've never seen? Or build a timeline that satellites confirm thousands of years later? Perhaps it wasn't imagination. Perhaps it was revelation. He didn't write to entertain. He wrote to preserve a memory before it vanished. And that memory? It survived. In temples, so small they don't show up on maps. But everyone there knows the name. You don't need books here. Each flame is a verse. Each wall, a scripture. Even children who have never read the Ramayana know how to fold their hands and say, Jai Shri Ram. In fields and festivals, the story still lives. Not just as history, but as tradition. And in the rhythm of dancers, in the voice of folk songs, Rama still walks, still wins, still returns. Across Bharat, thousands of temples light up the same path. From Ayodhya to Rameshwaram to Lanka. How do you explain that level of continuity? If it's all fiction, the sound still rings. Every morning, every evening, In every village where the name Ram lives on, a child whispers the name without ever being taught the full story. Why? Because memory runs deeper than history. And when that name rises from the streets, it's not politics. It's not propaganda. It's a people remembering who they are. Valmiki didn't write to impress. He wrote so we wouldn't forget. Today, the name still rises from Ayodhya to the southern seas. Not as a slogan, but as a soul. One name, one Dharma, one memory. The Ramayana, not just a story, a timeless memory.